Hi everyone, good evening, and welcome to StudyIQ. So, in this session, we will discuss tropical cyclone, right? So, tropical cyclone in depth we will discuss, and as the season also approaching for the tropical cyclones, as you are aware, that recently today when I was going through the newspaper, I found the tropical cyclone Lopar that we also discussed earlier, right? The tropical cyclones. Okay, so the tropical cyclones that we discussed earlier. Okay, so that is why as the tropical cyclones are also the corner, more cyclones is also going to form in the monsoon season. So hope this lesson will help you to understand what exactly the tropical cyclone, how does it happen, what are the conditions needed for the growth and development of tropical cyclones, how much weightage for the tropical cyclones a candidate or the aspirant must or should devote, that is also a point. Apart from that, I would say competitive education, right? Good evening, Vibhuti. So, as I said, the tropical cyclone is what? See, the tropical cyclone as a season, first of all, the tropical cyclone is a storm. Is what? A storm. As I have written here in the screens also is coming the tropical cyclone. So it's a what? This tropical cyclone is a storm. Basically, it's a storm that forms over large water body. Over what? Large water body. First of all, this is cyclone, right? So that could be your tropical cyclone, or it could be your polar cyclone or extra tropical cyclones. Let's say here is extra tropical cyclone is written. Let it. Either it would be tropical if the cyclone is forming in the tropical region of the world. Then we will call it tropical cyclones, right? If the cyclone is forming in the mid latitude, then we will call it what? That is the extra tropical cyclones or temperate cyclone or temperate cyclone. Hope इतना समझ में सबको आता है, right? Now, fast of tropical and cyclone, then I would say if I divide this one, the cyclone, one would be your tropical cyclone, one would be your temperate cyclone, right? Two cyclones forms, but all the cyclones means it's a stormy weather. It's a what? Stormy weather that forms over large water body. But when it comes to temperate cyclones, that may forms over the land and water, that does not require always water surface to form, that is the extratropical cyclones. But when it comes to the tropical cyclones, like recently as in Odisha coast, in the mid of northwestern part of the Bay of Bengal, the Lopar tropical cyclone is forming as the grooming of. So this one is a tropical cyclones. Why this is in tropical region is forming and over the water surface right? So hence we will go through every details of the tropical cyclones, which is cyclone which is necessary for your relation, for your understanding, for your exam, everything. Now, so cyclones, as I said, see, this is what the screen I have, मतलब I am presenting to you, ताकि आपको कुछ दिखाने के लिए, बट द कंसेप्ट जो मैं बोलता हूँ ना वो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट होता है, कुछ चीज़ स्लाइड पे नहीं रहता है, एंड दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू यू एज वेल. सो ये मैं नहीं, हमें कोई भी any faculties is like going through any topics, we need to write down some things which is necessary for the preparing the civil service examinations. I have always advised my students that for the civil service preparations you need to have the three things. One is concept, clarity, that give you confidence, and confidence will lead to sell through this exam, right? So this is how this process goes on. Okay, now come fast. As I said, tropic cyclones is two types. First of all, I would not go to the tropical cyclones, I will not go into temperate cyclones. Simple, I will go through that cyclone is two types. One is tropical, one is temperate, right? As here you can see, one is like tropical cyclone, one is your polar cyclone or extra or temperate or temperate. Now cyclone what? Is a stormy weather, is a system, is a what? System that forms when a condition satisfies. Okay, now ये अब तक हो गया. Now this polar or the temperate cyclone or extra tropical cyclone, because as I am saying this is extra tropical cyclones. Why I am saying extra tropical cyclone? Because this one forms, let's say this is your equator, this one is equator, and this one is what? Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. Here is subpolar low pressure, here is subpolar low pressure. In this region, if the cyclone is forming in this region, let's say in this region, when this region we call it what? Mid latitude, then we will call it what? Temperate cyclone. Temperate cyclone. But if your cyclone is forming here, if the cyclone is forming here, if the cyclone is forming here, then we will call it tropical cyclone. Then we will call it what? Tropical cyclone. So this is the difference of tropical cyclones and temperate cyclones, because they are named according to their formation areas, geographical areas distribution, right? That is what? Geographical areas distribution. So that is why we call it, this one is temperate, this one is temperate, and these two are tropical because they are forming in tropical region. So that is the right. Hope this much is correct to and fine to all. Now questions is, let's say which one is stronger, which one is mild, or which one does more impact to the human. This all questions. What are the condition? As you can see that extra tropical cyclone, as I said, beyond 40-degree latitude. What would be the latitude? 40 plus, you say from the 40 to 65, that would be the latitude. But when it comes to the tropical cyclone, it would be your 4-degree to let's say matlab from the 4-degree to the 22-degree latitudes in the both the hemispheres of the earth, right? मतलब equator. So ये होता है आपका जो एरिया ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन्स का एरिया. एंड टेम्परेट साइक्लोन, as I said के टेम्परेट साइक्लोन्स, that would be right. So that would be the area for the temperate cyclone we have already discussed. Fine. Now this extra tropical cyclone, it forms due to the what? Meeting of two different air masses. Due to the meeting of what? Two different air masses. You have to remember, okay, this one forms, right? This one forms due to the what? Two different air masses. It needs two different air masses, right? This one needs two different air masses. That means one would be your warm, one would be your cold. Two different air masses required, as it requires the air masses to be formed. But this one is simple. It needs what? High temperature, high humidity, right? So this would be the conditions. Because we will go through the detail, that does not mean that I will only go through by surface. I will go through all the details. Now this one is forms, as now we have discussed, right? Next, just a minute. Now, as I just a minute. Okay, now everybody is aware that Odisha coast, in the Odisha coast, what? That cyclones do frequently comes in Odisha coast. Okay, as the cyclone comes very frequently in the Odisha coast, now also in news that tropical cyclones Lopar is going to may approach or may not, right? We are in initial stage to predict that whether the Lopar will strike the Odisha coast or not. We are in initial stage, so I would not predict as well, right? Better not to predict. But as many of you are preparing, so many of you are preparing for the what? Odisha Civil Service examination. That is why this is also very important to remember, right? Just a minute. To remember that Odisha, why tropical cyclones more strike Odisha? Due to its geographical location. Why? Due to its geographical location, that 17 points from 17.31 to 22.31. So this is the latitude which is very favorable for the formation of tropical cyclones, and hence Odisha, its geographical location, if you draw this India map, and Odisha is located like this, and which is very like 17 degree to 22 degree, as I mentioned earlier in the very first slide, that the tropical cyclones do form between 4 to 22 degree latitude, and that is why, as this latitude also rightly fits. So this is also is a very normal thing that when the tropical cyclones passing through Odisha coast, it may strike, right? And why do also? Then there is also delta. So if somebody will ask you, okay, why tropical cyclone more strikes the Odisha coast, the answer number one is that we are having long coast. Now the coastal length of Odisha is increased from 480 kilometer to 575 kilometer. So this is the enhancement of the new measurement, and the Ministry of Home has been declared, and the new coastal length has been measured for all the states, including the national's coastal line as well. We have increased. So this is also the probability of, as we are having long coastal line, almost 600 kilometers of long coastal line, plus the latitudinal location and the delta, and the what? Mahanadi Delta, the second largest delta of India. So these three cumulative factors. And another factor, if you say and ask me, okay, what could be the other probable factors, that is your what? ITCZ presence. And when tropical cyclones do strike Odisha, the ITCZ remains on Odisha, and that is also another strong point, that these are the some points that as I have discussed, right? They are major points. This is how, and this is why the tropical cyclone do strike Odisha, right? These are the factors, right? Hope you are getting me, right? So that is why this is happening, all this. So almost every year, and Odisha is rightly called, as many of you also know, that the cyclone state. Since the 1999, everybody is having that feared image in the mind, right? That more than 10,000 people died one go, and the severe, and that what, typhoon 1999. Since then, like the peoples are also habituated to have the tropical cyclones in the coastal region of Odisha. Let it be. So this is how, as I said, this is why the tropical cyclones do strike Odisha coast. That is why if somebody will ask, or in OPSC, if OPSC will ask, the answer is I have already done with you. Why do tropical cyclones? Because if somebody will ask me, then why the deltas? Whether the delta is a factor, whether delta is a factor that attracts the tropical cyclone. Yes, deltas do attract the tropical cyclones. That is why Sundarban, and that to be the 24th Pargana of WB, is the cyclone district of India. And the next comes your Jagatsinghpur and Kendrapada. There is also Mahanadi Delta. Hence, that is why these deltas are always to attract the tropical cyclones. And as I said, so that means if somebody will ask you, or in exam, why tropical cyclone do strike Odisha most, one is your, as I said, 575 coastal length. Second is the locational factor. Third is your what, ITCZ presence and deltas. So these are the factors. Okay, now I will move ahead. Just a minute. Just a minute. क्यों आ गया भाई? Okay, fine. So that is why that tropical cyclones comes, as I said. So then here we are having offer for you. The offer is going on, offer chalici, and enroll this batch, right? Use my code as well. That offer is all the offers in the StudyIQ for the PCS exam across the India, including OPSC. We are having what, ample of offer. बहुत ही बढ़िया ऑफर चल रहा है अभी. Grab this offer, use these platforms to get your benefit. Now the tropical cyclones, right? Number of slides also there. So tropical cyclones, as we have discussed, what is tropical cyclones? It's a intensing, it's a what, that cycloning rotating low pressure. The cyclone is always a low pressure. The temperate cyclone means the temperate low pressure. Tropical cyclones mean the tropical low pressure, right? The intense means what? That could be like the 60 km per hour. So this is how the intense. Severe tropical cyclones, like that could be 120 plus. sometimes typhoon 280, 240, that could be. So the names like whether it's a deep depression, whether it's a cyclone, whether it's a super cyclone, whether it's a typhoon, whether it's a hurricane, these names are given on the basis of geographical location and wind speed, and what wind speed, right. Now, so the tropical cyclones in the different geographical area across the world is known here, like you can see the hurricanes in Atlantic Ocean and East Pacific Ocean, right. So hope you guys are aware of this. Just a minute. For say, if I say this one, let's say for example, if I draw your North America and South America, so the tropical cyclones, so that hurricane here would be, it would be hurricane region. So this is the region and this is the region, right. So this is the Atlantic Ocean, so both side here would be also on the Africa coast, right, also on the Africa coast, this side. So that is how it forms. Then severe tropical cyclones, India, Australia, right. Then Willy Australia also. So this is also Australia. That this is not Western Australia, this is Eastern Australia. You have to remember, very precise, right. This would be Eastern Australia, right. If I draw Australia like this, so this side would be your Willy and this side would be severe tropical cyclones. As I said, this would be Western, that means Indian Ocean, right. Then comes that what, Baguio in Philippines, Baguio in Philippines. So these are the certain tropical cyclones names in the different region of the world, in the what, different region of the world. Hope you're getting me. So these are the names which is generally in SSC, all these stop of exam they ask. Even in UPSC and OPSC, this kind of ask a match it, where it called as like Baguio, where is called as Willy, where it is called as hurricane, where do it call as typhoon, where is severe tropical cyclones or the tropical cyclones. These things are asked, right. Next, here you can see the region where do the tropical cyclone forms. So these are the, good evening Anita. Here you can see the tropical cyclones do form. The tropical cyclones form, as I mentioned earlier, 4 to 22 degree in the northern hemispheres and the southern hemispheres. The tropical cyclones do form, and this is the area where you can see the tropical cyclones is forming. Here you can see the typhoons, here you can see the cyclones, that Indian Ocean, anywhere in the Indian Ocean, if the tropical cyclone is forming, simple you say it's a severe tropical cyclones, right. That would be there. Now if I comes to like hurricane, here you can see anywhere this part, Eastern Pacific Ocean and the Western Atlantic Ocean or Eastern Atlantic Ocean, that would be your hurricane. So these are the areas you can see. Now one question they ask you, okay, then why do tropical cyclones don't form between 0 degree, here you can see this narrow line 0 degree, you can see this line does not have any tropical cyclones, right. There is no formation of tropical cyclones over the equator, over your equator. This red patches is on the southern side of equator and on the northern side of equator. That means Bay of Bengal you are having, Arabian Sea you are having, rest of Indian Ocean also having, but this region, the southern part of the Southern Ocean, which we do call it Southern Ocean, does not have area, and neither over the equator, there tropical cyclone is not forming. Then why? Now question is why. Now if somebody is having doubt, you can ask, right. Chanda, Anita, right. Good evening everyone. So what happens, this over the equator, or you may say this narrow line, right. So that is called is 0 to 4, 0 to 4. This narrow patches of land on the earth surface where tropical cyclone does not forms. क्यों नहीं formation होता? क्यों ना। इसका क्वेश्चन ए है, आंसर देखो, ये क्वेश्चन यूपीएससी ने पूछा भी है, ऐसे नहीं कि नहीं पूछे, इन्होंने भी पूछा है कि भाई क्यों नहीं फॉर्मेशन होता, बोलो। राइट, व्हाई डोंट ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन फॉर्म्स in this narrow line? You can see this narrow line here. Tropical cyclone does not form here, tropical cyclone is not forming. And this question UPSC asked, okay, why tropical cyclone is not forming on the western part of continent, why tropical cyclone is not forming here, western part of continent, why tropical cyclone is not forming here on the western part of continent. This is your western part of continent, this is your western part of continent, this one is your western part of continent where the tropical cyclone is not forming. Why? The answer is cold current. So answer is, you have to write is because of cold current. Because of what? Cold current. The answer is because of cold current. As the cold current do prevails in this region, the tropical cyclones do require warm water. So that is why these regions are having cold water, and that does not favor to form the tropical cyclone. Right, hope you are getting me. And this is the answer, that the why don't tropical cyclones, so that would be your what? Cold current. Right, now again we will come back next questions to you. Right, those who have answered me, you guys are great. Now why do tropical cyclones don't form in this region? Let's say, hope this mark is visible to you, or let me have to light color. Why tropical cyclone is not forming in this area? Answer me. Satru, answer me. Coriolis, okay. So Satru has said that, sir, Coriolis force, Coriolis force, it's a what? Coriolis. So why? Coriolis is a what? Coriolis effect. We call it what? Coriolis effect. So because of this Coriolis effect is zero, as over the equator the Coriolis effect is zero, the zero Coriolis force, that is why tropical cyclones don't form over the equator as well. So both the answer is done, okay, why it's not forming over the equator and why it don't forms on the western part of continent. Now questions is, then now you have to answer. So this is how. Now tropical cyclones, there are three seasons for the formation of tropical cyclones. The season 1, who are the season? The season for the tropical cyclone is 1, pre-monsoonal. One is what? Pre-monsoonal. Then during monsoon, then during, and another is post-monsoon. So 3 times the tropical cyclones do form. Right, the tropical cyclone forms in 3 seasons, right? Pre-monsoon, during monsoon, post-monsoon. But generally those tropical cyclone forms post-monsoon, they are dangerous. They are what? Dangerous. They are dangerous. So that is why इससे थोड़ा बच के रहना, इससे थोड़ा बच के रहना. Right, what those are forming, that is post monsoon, like October, November. So that one is very difficult, say usually they are very difficult, right? Otherwise it would be fine. Correct. Next, so hope this slide is done to all. Next we will come. Now OPSC prelims for the 2024 and 25 test series batch 3 from the StudyIQ platforms and our teams is closing on the 31st of May 2025. So please do enrolls, only 2,300 rupees also there. use the code is, you can use any code to get the discount. You can use my code as well, right? SHLIVE capital, so get the benefit as well. Next, tropical cyclones. Why tropical cyclones forms more over the Bay of Bengal? Anyone? Why tropical cyclone forms more over Bay of Bengals? So tropical cyclones do forms over Bay of Bengals more because of, if you ask me, okay sir, why tropical cyclones do forms over Bay of Bengal is more as compared to Arabian Sea. The reason being, in this site, I would say this some patches here, I would write it, or I can also write it here. So because of point 1 is that, okay, why do Bay of Bengal? Because the temperature of Bay of Bengal is high. Temperature, that means I would say sea surface temperature. That is. Another point is what? The residue of typhoon. Another point is presence of so many islands. Presence of so many islands. So these are certain factors. Then less salinity also another factor. What? Less salinity also another factors. So these cumulative factors is helping the Bay of Bengal to have more tropical cyclones to forms as compared to Arabian Sea. But recently a study came, I was just going through the paper few days back, I am saying, in the Indian Express, I was going through, where I found a research paper was there. Somebody wrote that one in the back of Indian Express paper, where I found that the research is saying the sea surface temperature of Arabian Sea is increasing faster rate as compared to the Bay of Bengal in the recent past. So this is how now, after let's say 100 years, 50 years, or let's say 50 years, 20 years, the researchers are saying that after 20 or 30 years, the Arabian Sea will have more tropical cyclones as compared to the Bay of Bengal. Why? Because the average temperature is increasing more as compared to the Bay of Bengal. So this is one point that you can also write in your answer way forward or somewhere else, right? So whatever the small things you are getting from the news, you have to put it into the answer. You have to back into the answer. Like yesterday, the UPSC prelims was there, and I hope many of you have, those who have enrolled the StudyIQ platforms or somewhere else, you have learned from me the geography. I have said, and I said that these questions will came, and questions also came, right? Just I would say Sunday, it was just 5 days before, I was 4 days before, I was taking isotherm. I was taking isotherms in StudyIQ paid batch. Then I was saying to my students that this question will comes in UPSC prelims, and this question came after 5 days. UPSC prelims happens now this Sunday, and the question came. So this is how, because the pattern gives us idea to predict what kind of questions they are going to ask. Somehow we are not saying we will predict whatever the question UPSC will ask. That would not happen anyhow. Some questions will come, right? Some questions will come. Okay, so Smita, good evening. So right, so that means, as I said, so this is how. So you may say that the Bay of Bengal experience 10% of the world tropical cyclones alone. The Bay of Bengal experience 10% of the tropical cyclones alone itself, right? Alone itself. Now, what would be the condition for the formation of tropical cyclone? The conditions are, if I go through the condition right, and detail, if I go through these slides, it will take at least 2 hours of the session or 3 hours of the session, right. So that is why I will try to restrict myself 1 hour and to cover the whole relation. Now, what would be the required for the growth of tropical cyclones? Hope you guys, many of you are aware what are the things that needs for the growth and development of the tropical cyclones, right. For say, for example, the sea surface temperature, which is 27 or more. You may sometimes 26 plus, this is also correct. 26.5 plus, this is also correct. So first of all, sea surface temperature, or we do short call it SST. Sea surface temperature we do have, or we need to have sea surface temperature pretty high. We need high moisture, we need high temperature, so that high moisture would be there. So first of all, so how you have to remember what are the things is needed is that we need first of all 27-degree sea surface temperature. Then what? Ample moisture. Ample moisture. Then what? Other things, that would be Coriolis force. There would be Coriolis force. We do also need that one, Coriolis force. What other things we know? There could be if ITCZ, presence of ITCZ, that is also pretty good. Other things about, we need small low pressure as well. This is also pretty good. We need also that one, right. Apart from that, if there is a presence of island, if there is an island, that is also pretty good. Then we need also initial thrust. This is also, we need also upper air diversion. We need also what? Upper air diversion. We need also what? Upper air diversion. Then we need also the shear force of the wind to be low, right. The shear force of the wind to be low. So these are the conditions together. There would be ample moisture. All these conditions are needed for the formation of tropical cyclones, right. Okay, done everyone? Is this clear to all those who are watching me? Correct. Those who have gone through, like I can see like Sasmita and here the addicted soul, that means who forget. So you guys are already have gone through. So this is one kind of revision for you guys, and those who are watching me live or will watch recording session, somebody is also watching in recording session, for them it would be also a revision, and those who have new, for them this would be also value addition equal. But I would advise enrolls the batch so that you will have the holistic, right, holistic all in series of lecture. You will have the geography, and I promise you will have the best geography lecture, right, one of the best, though I am not the best faculty, but I would try to ensure that I can clear that the doubts and the facts which is right needed for the selling through these exams. That would be, I will assure you, and don't worry for that. Now another things what we need, that 60 to 70 meters of warm water thickness, that is also required, right. These things are required. So now we will thank you for your comment, because आप लोगों का जो comment होता है वही तो एनर्जी है, that now Coriolis force, as I have discussed, that without Coriolis force tropical cyclones would not form. Why? Because the isobar would not develop. See why? As I said, right? Here you can see, if here is a low pressure is there, and some, that means low pressure, the nearby region will have high pressure, everywhere will have high pressure, high pressure, high pressure. When the wind will flow to this low pressure, right, if Coriolis force would not be there, the wind will directly reach to the center of the low pressure, so that the growth and development of the cyclone would be done, खत्म हो जाएगा. क्यों? क्योंकि भाई ये लो प्रेशर सस्टेन नहीं कर पाएगा, ये सस्टेन करी परिबो नहीं. If the wind is moving like these, but it would be rotate like these, that means the winds are rotating, not able to reach into the center, so that the center low pressure will remain as a low, and that will further attract the air to comes into the center. That is the number of isobar will forms, the number of isobar will forms. Otherwise, if there were no Coriolis force, the wind from here, that can directly reach into the center and fill up that gap. That may not help, that would not help to grow that tropical cyclones. That is why you have to remember, if somebody will ask, why do Coriolis forces required? Because to sustain that low pressure. भाई यहाँ पे एयर कम है, तब तक वो खींचेगा ना, आ जाओ मेरे पास आओ, right? Low pressure means what? The concentration of air is less, so that is attracting the air from the surrounding region. The surrounding region is high pressure, that is why the air is moving towards the center. But जब वो fill up हो जाएगा, जैसे कि मेरे पास दो बोतल है, एक बोतल पे आधे पानी है और एक बोतल पे पूरा पानी है, तो मैं अगर पानी दूं तो जो पूरा जो बोतल फुल है, तो वहां से that means those bottle is a full water and let's say this one is a half water. So the full water जहाँ पे मतलब ज़्यादा वाटर है जिस बॉटल पे, वो वाटर जहाँ पे कम वाटर है जिस बॉटल पे जाएगा, तो वो फिर बैलेंस हो जाएगा, राइट? वो बैलेंस नहीं होने देंगे ना हम, राइट? दैट इज वाई द कोरियोलिस फोर्स इज देयर, करेक्ट? ओके, एक मिनट. सो that is why we need this Coriolis force, right? Now done this one. Then we need what? Low level of disturbance. Low level of disturbance, we do need low level of disturbance. Why? Because disturbance मतलब क्या? ଯେମିତି ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ କହନ୍ତି ଖଣ୍ଡିଆ ଭୂତ, କହନ୍ତିନି ଖରା ଦିନେ ଦେଖିବ ଖଣ୍ଡିଆ ଭୂତ ଏମିତି ବୁଲୁଥିବ, ଏ ଖଣ୍ଡିଆ ଭୂତ ନ, it's a low pressure. It's a what? Low pressure, small low pressure, or I would say disturbance. This small disturbance, if I pick that khandiya bhuta and put over the Bay of Bengal surface where all the condition is satisfied, then that will develop into a tropical cyclone. That may develop into a tropical cyclone. वो जो thrust है ना, वो जो thrust initial, जैसे कि सबको पता है कि जो DSL होता है ना, जो matches, भाई unless and until we are not doing friction, the fire would not come, and that friction, the initial point, is necessary, and this is how that friction point, that igniting point, is your low level of disturbance, means small low pressure. Then you might have asked questions in the mind as well. There might be questions in the mind कि why do that low pressure differ? भाई बहुत सारे जगह है, जैसे कि भुवनेश्वर भी एक जगह है, कटक भी है, पुरी भी है, संबलपुर है, कोरापुट है. हर जगह टेम्परेचर थोड़ी समान होगा, नहीं होगा ना. लेट्स से भुवनेश्वर का टेम्परेचर थोड़ा बहुत ज़्यादा है, बाकी का टेम्परेचर कम है, तो भुवनेश्वर में थोड़ा सा थ्रस्ट कहाँ पे मिलेगा? तो भुवनेश्वर पे मिलेगा, राइट? यू आर गेटिंग. सो दैट इज वाई ऑन द वाटर सरफेस, तो वाटर सरफेस ऑल्सो डज नॉट हैव यूनिफॉर्म टेम्परेचर, कहीं पे थोड़ा ज़्यादा टेम्परेचर होगा. That would be the igniting point. That would be the low level of disturbance. Hope you're getting it. That would be the low level of disturbance, right? Next, upper air diversion. See, this is very important. Upper air diversion मतलब क्या है? मैं जैसे कि मेरे पास नॉलेज आ रहा है, मैं क्यों आ रहा है, क्यों आ रहा है, वाई आई एम गेटिंग नॉलेज, बिकॉज आई एम गिविंग यू। जिस दिन मैं देना बंद कर दूंगा ना, मेरे पास आना भी बंद हो जाएगा। एवरीथिंग गोज ऑन इन साइकिल, एवरीथिंग गोज ऑन इन साइकिल। जब तक मैं आप लोगों का देता रहूंगा, मेरे अंदर वो मतलब वो जो भूखापन ना नॉलेज के लिए वो रहेगा। आई वुड हैव ऑलवेज हंगर फॉर द नॉलेज के यस, when I will know, when I will learn a good knowledge, good idea, I will transfer to my students, to my what students. But if I am not learning, let's say I'm learning, only learning, but not transforming, not giving somebody else, तो वो मेरे अंदर रह जाएगा ना, तो फ्लो नहीं हो रहा है, तो फिर आपको ना लर्न करने का वो जो एक्सक्यूज नहीं मिलेगा। दिस इज ऑल्सो लाइक दैट। तो इफ air is merging here, so that means on the surface you can see the air is merging here on the surface, right? The air is merging on the surface, here you can see, right? So here is air is merging। भाई यहाँ पे एयर आ रहा है, मतलब उसको देना भी तो पड़ेगा, वो ऊपर भेज दिया, why? Convection। why? Here is low pressure, so here is what rate of convection is going on, and then this region will turn into high pressure, and high pressure always do diverge the air, and that is why ये एयर खींच रहा है, ये फेंक रहा है, तो दोनों को बीच में एक कनेक्शन बन गया। दैट इज वाई दैट फ्लो विल मेंटेन, द फ्लो विल मेंटेन। उस फ्लो के बात में कर रहा था, आई वाज टॉकिंग दैट फ्लो। so that is why if you are having a child in the in like that could be a younger sister, that could be younger brother, तो उसको भी आप पढ़ाओ घर में, ताकि आपको लगे कि भाई उसको मेरे को पढ़ाना है, इसको पढ़ाना, तो मेरे अंदर भी थोड़ा उतना नॉलेज होना चाहिए। otherwise how could I transform this, how could I be able to make understand them, so otherwise it could be, it's going to be difficult for you as well, right? So that is why every person, those who wants to be knowledgeous, to be avid, to be a I would say what a known one, you have to learn, and for that you have to give someone, you have to impart your existing knowledge to somebody else. That could be through the tuition, that could be through the you may have some friends, right, clearing the doubts, all these things. So this is also how, as the air is converging here, the air is moving off, that convection is taking place, then it would be also diverting, right? So this is all is happening here, and this is very important. But here you can see the opposite one. If this is anticyclone, the opposite thing will happen. The opposite thing will happen. If it is anticyclone, the opposite things will happen. Or in the eye of tropical cyclone, that will also take place. In the eye of tropical cyclone, that we will also talk about. Okay. Now, here you can see the eye of tropical cyclones. As I said, the wind shear force. What is the wind shear force? Simple मतलब यही है, wind shear force meaning wind speed at different altitude, wind speed at different altitude, right? Wind speed at different altitude. If the wind speed in different altitude is लगभग समान है, उसको हम बोले low wind shear force. If it is varying, then it's a high wind shear force. So this is how the difference, right? But we need a condition for the low shear force. Okay. Humidity factor, as I said, we need 60 or 65% of humidity. That is good for the formation of tropical cyclones. Yes, Odisha PCS के लिए आपका prelims and mains Aarambh batch, the early start offers आप लोग के लिए है on the 31st May 2025. The admission closing on the 31st of May 2025. So please do share with your friends, near audience, and this is very effective cost, I would say. Just go through, and बहुत ही affordable cost में मिल रहा है, and we all are having the good faculties. You can have the faces of the faculties, right? Everybody is having good records, including me as well. So we are having this faculties group, right? Now the anatomy of tropical cyclones, you can see, right? The anatomy of a tropical cyclones. How the tropical cyclones? Anatomy means what? Structure. The center of the tropical cyclone is called as what? Eye. And like if I draw, let me draw it. Okay. Let me draw it. Let's say this is your tropical cyclone. Then this would be your eye. Then eye wall, inner end band, outer end band, annular zone. This is how go. These are what? This year you OPSC mains ask these questions. Discuss the what? The anatomy of tropical cyclones. So you have to you could have wrote both on the horizontal way and also on the vertical way. That is inner flow, middle flow, outer flow. So it would be from 0 to 3, 3 to 7, 7 to 12 kilometer, right? 7 to 12 kilometer. So 7 to 12 kilometer, this is outer flow, 3 to 7 middle flow, and 0 to 3 is your inner flow. So this is vertical anatomy of tropical cyclone. This one is what? Horizontal anatomy of tropical cyclones. Hope, right? Getting. Now, rain band means what? Rain band means where the rainfall is occurring. Here you can see the anatomy of tropical cyclones. The center is your eye, and close to the eye there is eye wall. The fastest wind speed is there. The air is evaporating. These are eye inner rain band, middle rain band, outer rain band. These are the rain bands where the rain is happening. Continuous rain is happening, right? So these are the, and this eye wall, see, eye wall I am not going depth into the eye wall because this will take time, because eye is simple. If I say eye is the center, is a circular in nature, calm, vertical air descent, it's remain calm, it's a 0 wind speed on the eye. Eye is a central low pressure, also is a central low pressure. So this is how, even you can land your helicopter over the eye. That would be in picture it would be looking like blue color. Then what are the rain bands? Rain bands are the what? They are also circulating bands where the rainfall is happening, continuous rainfall is happening, copious rainfall is happening. This is how we do call it the rain bands. The spiral form of rain bands is also there. We will discuss in the paid class as well in details. Here you can see the anatomy of the tropical cyclones. How? Right, alternative rising and descending of air. The descendings are the high and the ascendings are the low. So this is happening, and here you can see the air is moving towards the low, and here is diverging. As I said, high pressure will diverge and the low pressure will converge, right? Here I over the I, this air is descending, which is making and sustaining the low pressure for the long period of time. Okay, here is the best image of a tropical cyclones. You can see this is how the tropical cyclone looks like. This is above the surface and a system is rotating. Rotating what? Anti-clockwise in northern hemisphere, clockwise in southern hemispheres, right? Correct everyone? Okay, so this is vertical structure, as I said, that middle layer 3 to 7, 7 to 12, and this one we have already discussed. Okay, done. So rest of things in any other day we will discuss, but join Paripurna batch OCS, right? OPSC OCS 2025-2026 prelims and mains फाउंडेशन बैच है, बहुत अच्छा बैच है. यूज़ माई कोड SHLIV, बस आपको 10,000 में मिल जाएगा. ये भी डिस्काउंट हो जाएगा भाई, ये भी डिस्काउंट हो जाएगा, राइट? तो एनरोल कर लो. मेरा कोड है SHLIV. यू कैन यूज़ एनी अदर फैकल्टीज कोड, उसमें कोई भी दिक्कत नहीं है. तो start learning with StudyIQ, and we are having good bunch of faculties. Right, with this I will end the session. Thank you everyone. Good night to all.